Hey there, fourth grade. It's Mr. Remedies back today with our third lesson in summarizing texts. Now, for this lesson, we're going to give you a strategy that's all about shrinking a text when we summarize. And that's an important skill. As always, we're going to head on over to some learning goals and success criteria so we know what we're trying to accomplish today. Boom, right there on your screen. Learning goal today is that we are learning how to paraphrase a text using the main idea. Okay? Along the way, we want to be successful. We want to make sure that we're monitoring our success. We're being accountable to ourselves. We have some success criteria that is going to help you know that you're on the right track today. Some I can statements for you today, like I can define paraphrase, very important. I can identify the main idea of a text. You guys are pretty good at that, but we always need to make sure that we're practicing that. And 3, I can choose appropriate words to summarize the text. Okay, and this is where we're going to kind of combine some of our sweet writing skills too, right? But as long as you're able to hit those 3 I can statements along the way, boom, success town. Population, all the fourth graders across Copperas Cove. All right, so let's move on to some of that important vocabulary, just to make sure that we're on the right track today. Some very important vocabulary for you. The first word, paraphrase. Paraphrase means to reword something, usually a story or text. This is kind of what we mean by saying use your own words or in your own words. Okay, that's paraphrase. Again, just as review, we want to talk about our main idea, what the author wants the reader to learn. Remember, it's not the topic. It's what the author wants the reader to learn. All right, now that we have that vocabulary out of the way, let's talk a little bit more exactly what is shrinking the text. All right, so I'm going to start with a question. What is shrinking the text? Is it A, making the text smaller in size? Is it B, washing it in hot water so it fits too tight now? Or is it C, paraphrasing the text into 1 or 2 sentences? Put your thinking caps on. Think long and hard. Boom. If you said C, ding, 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 you are the winner. When we talk about shrinking a text, we're talking about paraphrasing the text into 1 or 2 sentences. Right? If you guys did so well, you know what? I think you deserve a little celebration. Here's a yay panda for you. Yay. So now, guys, let's move on to examining and really diving into this strategy of shrinking a text. So let's go back to how can we reduce household waste, something we worked with yesterday. We're going to keep on keeping on with this because it's a great example of how we could do a little bit of summarizing. So I'm going to head on over to getepic.com, and we're going to look at the text for today. Over here on Get Epic, we dived into how we can reduce household waste. We're still in Chapter 3. We are in this section, as you can see on the screen, Solutions to Food Waste and Yard Waste Pollution. How can you help? Take only the food that you plan to eat and try not to be too picky. For instance, cut a bruise out of an apple and eat the rest instead of throwing the whole apple. Governments are getting involved too. The city of Seattle, Washington passed a law in 2015. It requires people to recycle food waste. The city fines people who do not follow the law. Even though this is just a short one-page selection that we're going to be working with, we can use this as an example of how to shrink a text. So we're going to head on over back to our PowerPoint, and we're going to see exactly how we're supposed to do that. Okay, so what I have here on your screen is how to shrink a text. Okay, we're going to go back. We're going to look at the original text, and we're going to try to take this big section, and we're going to shrink it into 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, so let's look here. Okay, rereading it. I want to first identify the main idea. Now, luckily, the author's done a great job, and they've clued us into the main idea with the word help. Okay? This section is all about how we can help eliminate or reduce food and yard waste. So that's pretty good. Okay, so I have my main idea. The next thing I want to do is I want to see if any of the details have anything in common. I want to identify similarities between some of the details that are in the bodies of my paragraph. So I look here, take only the food that you plan to eat, not be too picky, cut a bruise out. Well, these are examples of how I can help. So I see that this collection of sentences, these C3C sentences are all about making good choices when I buy food. So I'm going to combine some of that, and we'll see that in a minute. Working our way down into our second paragraph, this is mostly very specific details about a very specific city, but I can cut some of it out, right? Like I can cut out the specific city because the topic sentence of the paragraph tells me that governments are getting involved too. So that means many cities across the country are doing it. So I don't need to mention Seattle. I can cut that. I don't have to talk about Washington. I might maybe pass a law. I might include that. I don't need to know the year, especially because 5 years ago is kind of a long time. 6 years ago, almost. Right? I do want to keep what the law requires us to do or the citizens to do. And I know that when cities pass laws and people don't follow them, that they typically just fine the people. Right? And the city of Copperscope does that too. Like if you don't put the correct items in your recycling bin, you might get fined, or they may not pick up your trash. Or if you don't, I don't know, if you don't have the right address at the post office, they might fine you. But don't quote me on that second one. All right, so now that I've identified the main idea, I've made some connections and identified some similarities between some of the details, and I've actually cut down some of the sentences by eliminating unnecessary words and phrases. I can put this together in my own words, paraphrasing it into 1 or 2 sentences. Let's take a look at that now. Pow! Right there. So we went from this original text, which has 7 sentences, to this 2-sentence summary. There are many ways to reduce food waste, like making better choices when we buy food. Okay. Cities can help by passing laws that require people to recycle food waste. Boom. That's a great way to shrink it. Man, if you guys helped me out there, you guys did amazing. Okay. So I've taken the 7 sentences, these 2 paragraphs, using my good reading skills, my synthesizing skills, and I've shrunk it down to 2. All right. And you guys are more than capable of doing the same in the text that we read. So let's go step by step and see exactly what we're trying to accomplish. Boom. So how to shrink a text step by step. Step number 1, identify the main idea. Well, step number 1 is actually just read the text, but I think I think you guys got that. Boom. All right. So after we read the text, step number 1, identify the main idea. Remember, it's what the author wants us to learn, not just what the selection is about. Step number 2, identify similarity between the details. Are all the details about buying something? Are they about reducing waste? Are they about how you can reuse something? Just as an example. Number 3, we're going to combine sentences by deleting unnecessary words or phrases. I bet if Seattle, Washington is passing laws to help reduce food waste, I bet many other cities across the world are. So we don't really need to add specific details. We can cut out some unnecessary ones. And number 4, keep it to 1 or 2 sentences. Now, Mr. Remedies, well, I tried my best. I did our example in 2 sentences. Ideally, we like to do it in 1, but if you get down to 2, you rock. You're an all-star. All right. With that being said, we're chugging right along to review. All right. So review. Summaries are all about paraphrasing the information that we read. Okay? Paraphrase means to retell something in one's own words. Okay? Very important. And one way to paraphrase a text is to shrink the text. And remember, that's a 4-step process. Identify the main idea. Identify similarities between the details and facts within the body. Eliminate unnecessary words or phrases. And 4, keep it to 1 or 2 sentences. If you can do that, boom, you have mastered shrinking a text. And I think you guys are well on your way. All right, that's all the time we have for today. I've been Mr. Remedies. You guys have been my fantastic 4th graders, and we will see you